Good afternoon and happy Halloween. Not covering up anybody's mic. Everybody can hear all right? All right. Good afternoon. Today I called this press conference to address the federal investigation into a gun scheme involving past leadership of our sheriff's office. First, I will tell you how dedicated we all are to transparency, but on the other hand, please understand that there are some questions I will not be able to answer due to the ongoing investigation. Due to the concerning elements stated written in the affidavit, I can only provide you facts to what BCSO is currently doing and how I am making sure as the current sheriff of Bernalillo County, how my agency will not engage and will distance itself from past practices. I will also provide a timeline of what I have done as Bernalillo County Sheriff once we took office, and also remind you that on November 5th of 2022, the Albuquerque Journal wrote an article titled "Guns on the Street, Straw Buying Happening Every Single Day in Albuquerque," authored by Journal staff writer Matthew Risen. In the article, the Journal named 2 gun stores locally here in Albuquerque, which did in fact cause concern. The following is the timeline of some of the gun investigation that we have done since taking office. Since April 2015, we discovered personnel were sent to the Laguna Pueblo Police Department to collect 30 AK-47s and associated accessories. On June 26 of 2023, I was notified of 30 AK-47s in our armory belonging to a private citizen. The week of July 3rd, I ordered information to be gathered and contacted the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, otherwise known as the ATF. During the whole month of July, several attempts were made to contact the owner of these weapons with no success. I was also notified that our personnel had been unsuccessful over the last 7 years making contact with the Laguna Police Department also and the owner. During the month of July, the rest of the month, we attempted to contact Laguna Pueblo Police Department to get a copy of report for guns. We were met with opposition and no report was made available or readily made available for the guns we were asking about. The end of July of this year, I met with CSI and range staff to initiate a plan to collect and tag these guns, being the AK-47s. On August 1st of 2023 of this year, all guns and related items were tagged into Metro Evidence, which is an evidence we share along with the Albuquerque Police Department. On August 18th, coordinated with the county legal to send a letter to the owner to collect his property, or they would be tagged for destruction, meaning the weapons. In September, legal sends a letter to the owner, who I will not name at this time. On September 28th, the owner contacted the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office and Metro Evidence to inquire about the process to collect the firearms. The owner was referred to Metro Evidence. On October 20th, Maryland indictment was released. Immediately on October 24th, I reached out to the Maryland AUSA office, and on October 25th, spoke to the AUSA Maryland case agent. The next day, on October 26th, we met ATF to review all guns at Metro Evidence. All guns, which are the AK-47s thus far, have been cleared and eventually will be released to the owner with no suspected involvement. On October 27th, one of our deputies provided a list of all full auto guns in our inventory. October 30th, we reached out to the ATF to conduct an audit of all these firearms. They will provide an NFA list for us to compare to our inventory. However, they will not be able to conduct the audit. We will do another audit on our own accord to make sure that we have full transparency and reporting all of the firearms. I will answer some questions that have been proposed through our PIO that I've seen, and then I'll allow you to answer some more questions. One of the questions that will be asked will be, what firearms do we have in our inventory? We have to also remember that we have historical and training guns in inventory as follows: a Sten British machine gun, an Uzi pistol, a sawed-off double-barrel shotgun, a Bren World War II machine gun, a Thompson submachine gun, and M4 Bushmasters. Some questions proposed to us. The first question was regarding the law letter request that former Sheriff Gonzales allegedly made during his time at BCSO, and the similar alleged request that former Undersheriff Mora may have been made while at BCSO. Did those result in BCSO purchasing any weapons? If so, was money used from the BCSO budget? Our answer so far that we have found, no. Would you be able to say whether any of the guns alluded to in the indictment were ever in New Mexico? And if so, how many? We know that they may have been in New Mexico at some point, but not in the BCSO armory to our knowledge as we conducted an audit. Does BCSO have any machine guns or automatic weapons in its arsenal? If so, what kind and how many? Again, we are here for full transparency. The answer is 17 Bushmaster M4 rifles, 5 MP5 .40 caliber. We also have a Sten British machine gun, as I mentioned before, an Uzi pistol, a Bren World War II machine gun, and a Thompson submachine gun. Next question. Did any of these law letter demonstrations of machine guns actually occur for BCSO? That we do not, we have an unknown answer. That is under investigation. Last question before I take some of yours. Was BCSO aware of the law letters sent by the former sheriff? No, and I'm conducting questions on why I wasn't advised of the current sheriff, why we were not made aware of this. I will now take some of your questions.
The Thompson and the older machine guns, what are those used for? Why would those be in the inventory?
And we were told, like I said before, we have a history of firearms. This can come with something in our army coming from current sheriffs, even past the Dan Houston days. If we have them in our inventory, we can either not sell them legally, which we won't do because it's an automatic gun. Will it be cleared by the ATF? We will keep it in our own possession in our own armory without being utilized to make sure that that firearm is safe and it does not get into the wrong hands.
Do we know when those guns were obtained?
It is not clear. We know that it's been through several sheriffs. That's what we were looking at this morning. Specifically when it comes to the gun you're asking about for Thompson, that goes back quite a bit. The World War II gun, Uzi pistol, collectible firearms such of that nature will be in our armory. I will not release those unless it would be for destruction. We're not going to sell those. We don't utilize those in any operations, if that's the other question you're getting at. We just know that they're in our armory and they're safe, and that's where I would rather have them to make sure that they're in safe hands.
And the Bushmasters and do you guys use those automatic weapons in your operations?
No, around 2014, I was a SWAT sergeant around that time. That's when we started phasing out automatic weapons. I asked for that specifically as the SWAT sergeant. I did not feel that that was necessary to have full auto, semi-automatic for a standard defensive response, as all our deputies are trained. I think that was more aligned at the time that not only train our deputies, but specifically a specialty team being a special weapons and tactics team. You have to also remember this is the aftermath after the LA shooting with automatic weapons when law enforcement was trying to get automatic weapons. I understand where it comes from, but I did not feel it was appropriate or necessary for BCSO personnel to have fully automatic firearms.
Did Laguna Pueblo give a reason for not complying with your records request?
No, they did not.
The AK-47s, the 30. So there was no wrongdoing found with those guns or the person who got them. There was no illegal activity there associated with those guns.
For now, no. Once we were made aware of that, as I stated before, made sure a full audit was done and gave the command to audit our armory to make sure that we're looking at everything we have in our armory and making sure that we know what happened during the previous administration. Made sure that we called the ATF immediately because the concern was I didn't even know at the time if they were semi-automatic or fully automatic, so that was a huge concern for me. So we audited it. We knew that was semi-automatic, but the question for me was, why do we even have these in our armory to begin with? And that's something that we had to audit and do a research for. Once we did our own investigation, we found out people from the last administration gave these orders to go pick them up from the Laguna Police Department. We wanted to know why, how, who was it, and make sure that that was reported to federal authorities. The next question would be, if I was in your shoes, would be, is this against the law or not? And it is not, but at the same time, are we violating the law or any type of protocol ourselves for all of us being in a new administration to make sure that we're following the correct protocol? And if we are in violation, to make sure that we're upfront about it and we correct it immediately.
And those are semis?
Those are semi-automatic.
Okay,
Yes.
and you said you weren't gonna name the person. Can you tell us, was that person either Rudy Mora or Manny Gonzales?
No.
You can't tell us, it's not?
No, it's not.
Okay.
The latter part of your question. Anybody else?
I do have a question. So now considering, I guess, everything that you've seen that happened or did not happen with the transfer of the previous administration to yours, is there anything that you're considering changing, looking at as far as the protocol specifically to make sure that everybody knows exactly what the others are doing within the department?
We always do, and those are audits that we're conducting now. And even before I took office, it was always a concern of mine on what any administration would do previous and what we don't know about. Specifically to this case, I'm still looking into it. I don't know why I was not made aware of it, even though I'm not named in anything, which I wouldn't be. But as the current sheriff, I need to know that if there was an investigation going on into a previous administration for some charges or implications of serious of this nature, to make sure that we're following the proper protocol. And answer your question, is there anything we need to change immediately? Just with the AK-47s, we want to make sure we audit it and we're very transparent with ourselves and what else was in our inventory, which we found the Thompson handgun, the Uzi pistol, and the next question would be, just like you asked, why do we have them? How long have they been here? And why do we still need them? And that's something that we're still going through with.
Sheriff, I'm assuming the Tommy gun and machine guns are mostly for historical purposes, kept in evidence. It's not like a deputy can go down to evidence and check one out for patrol or anything like that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is there anyone in the current BCSO staff that had anything to do with these law letters, with this scheme, that were involved in transfer, anything at all like that you're looking into?
No, we always look into it. We have found no at this point. Like I said, we will always cooperate with our federal partners. We make sure that we're always looking into it and making and auditing. I'm making sure that as a new administration, as I stated in my first paragraph, we are making sure that not only are we transparent, but we will not do what has been past practice here in this office. It's not acceptable. That's not something that we need to, how we build public trust. It brings too much doubt, specifically when we have all these problems with gun violence that we're seeing in our community. We don't need to be at the forefront or question on what we're actually doing, and if we're not being upfront with everybody that we serve. That is something that I don't take lightly and I will not take, and it's not acceptable.
Okay. And then in some court records we found that Tafoya, the gun store owner, had said that when the ATF seized his guns, he was planning on doing a demonstration for a large local law enforcement agency when the ATF came and seized those guns. Do you know, was BCSO going to be doing a demonstration with Tafoya is around November 2021?
No, I would not. And if you recall, I was retired at the time. I do not know that. And anything specific to those questions, that's something I wouldn't or could not answer. That is in the Fed's hands, ATF and the U.S. Maryland's AG's office, that they would have to answer to those facts. I could not.
One more. An email that was sent to Manny from the ATF agent said that they had flagged 2 guns, and one of them was like a machine gun from World War II that needed like a trailer and stuff. Are those the guns you're talking about that are in the inventory now?
That's something we're looking at further because that is a concern of mine. We're not getting that back from the ATF right now. So far, for our administration and the audit we've done and the ATF has looked at those firearms, we are clear. But that is something I will look in case it does come up. You need to remember an investigation, it may go on for another 6 months to a year. I don't know. That is another reason why we're keeping them in our armory. And then if we are told by the ATF that we need to transfer those into the evidence, we will do so.
To your knowledge, they date previous.
They date previously, correct.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.